Just because you don't understand something about elections doesn't mean something nefarious is going on. It's okay to ask that local election official the question, as opposed to saying, I don't understand it, therefore something bad is happening.
Despite confirmation from election leaders, local and otherwise, there's part of the population right now that still doubts the security of American elections in the United States, and some who reject the results of certified elections. That's exactly what happened in the wake of the 2020 presidential election, and the impact election denial has had on our political system has only grown. A new analysis from the Washington Post finds that of all the Republican candidates running in elections across the country, a slight majority, 53%, have either questioned or outright denied the results of the 2020 presidential election. And of those 299 candidates, most of them are likely to get victories next month. Post says 173 of them are favored to win. 74 candidates are not favored. 52 are in races considered too close to speculate. According to the Post analysis, these candidates come from all over the country, including many in Kansas and Missouri. You know, we've seen politicians in our two states question the results or even put up a fight to change them, despite no findings of any widespread voter fraud. Let's discuss. Please welcome Hannah Knowles, national political reporter for the Washington Post. Hannah, thank you so much for your time. Many candidates, mostly all Republicans, have made waves by repeating this false rhetoric from the former president, despite a mountain of evidence to the contrary. Why is that?
You saw former President Trump play a huge role in the primaries this year and, often was favoring candidates who had promoted his false claims about the 2020 election. And so, I think a lot of candidates saw that as, something they needed to say to win their primaries. Some of them truly believe it and have really taken up this cause. In the general election, we've seen candidates pivot away from that somewhat and, try and talk more to moderate voters, focus more on economic issues, crime and stuff like that. But clearly people see a lot of political advantage in echoing his claims.
Okay, so yeah, because they don't live in a vacuum, so they either know what they're saying is wrong or this is, like you said, more political calculus than anything.
Yeah, and, I've done reporting on Blake Masters, for example, the Senate nominee in Arizona. And my colleague and I, we spoke to people who said he doesn't actually believe that, Trump won the 2020 election, but felt he had to say that, in order to win a Trump endorsement and the nomination. When Blake is pressed about this issue, he focuses on tech censorship of certain, news stories in the lead up to the election, but he does not point to, issues with the voting process itself in Arizona.
Interesting. We have some contentious races in our two states, Kansas and Missouri. In your reporting, you've seen most of these Republican candidates have a history of denying the election or saying that now. What is your take on just the face and the impact that could have?
It continues to erode faith in elections. We're just in totally uncharted waters. I mean, I don't think many people necessarily expected, 2020 to drag out in the way that it did. And so now to have an election where, so many candidates have said, have not necessarily committed to respecting the results. It seems utterly unprecedented. And I think a lot of people are worried about what the fallout could be this year.
Sure. We had a primary in Kansas in which a losing candidate for Secretary of State, a Republican, promoted election conspiracies. You say nearly 300 of these types of candidates in one form or another are poised to win in November. We talk about growing mistrust. These people could potentially be in power. Tell me a little bit about that potential impact.
Yeah, we could have candidates take, governor's offices, Secretary of State's offices that have power over the election processes in their states. We see election deniers poised to potentially win or favored to win in battleground states that will be at the center of the 2024 presidential election. And so, you could see in Arizona, for example, Mark Finchem, who said, he wouldn't have decertified the 2020 election, being in charge of elections the next time around, which is deeply alarming to people. And, I think some people thought, some of these candidates are so out there that there's no way they prevail in a general election, even if they made it through the primary and appealed to the GOP base. But what we're seeing in polling in places like Arizona and Nevada is that You know, a lot of people, they're voting straight Republican tickets. They don't know much about these particular candidates necessarily, and you know, these people are winning.
Interesting. All right, we'll leave it there for today. Hannah Knowles with the Washington Post. Thank you so much for your insight and perspective. You can read all of Hannah's work and the latest national political headlines online at WashingtonPost.com.